Hello, I imagine you're here because you're curious about this question: what is employee engagement? Why is it important? And how can you get some? Now, I really appreciate your desire to develop your understanding and also the value of your time, and we'll try to get to answers to your questions as quickly and as efficiently as possible. You probably already know that the first thing to understand about employee engagement is that it is an emotional state. It comes about through your emotional relationship with the value of the work you do. It's personal and subjective, and it's not something that the boss can mandate. Where do you think you are on the employee engagement scale? Let me ask you, which of the following 3 states do you imagine is the best description of the relationship you have with your work? Number 1, you really love what you do. It excites you and energizes you and gives you a sense of fulfillment at a deep personal level. It's primarily more through your work and your workplace relationships that you explore and express your self-identity and sense of self-worth, which basically means that your work helps you feel more good about yourself. You have an internal drive, even passion for what you do and the impact it has on others. You will go way beyond what's expected of you and get deep satisfaction from how others value what you are able to do for them. You have rewarding relationships with your co-workers and customers. You feel loyal to the organization you work for and more connected and committed to its values and purpose. If this is the experience you imagine your work gives you, you are in an actively engaged state. Secondly, number 2, work is something you do either to achieve your financial goals or that you are simply in the habit of doing. You get things done as best you can and try to do what's expected of you. You have no particular emotional connection with your work. You might be good at what you do, but you rely on the things you do outside of work to fulfill yourself and build your sense of identity and purpose in life. You feel no special resonance or loyalty with the organization you work for and could be relatively easily persuaded to move somewhere else if you thought life and/or the rewards would be better for you elsewhere. If this is how you imagine you experience your work, you are in a not engaged state. Thirdly, number 3, you really don't like what you do or the environment that you work in. You feel undervalued, unappreciated, resentful, demotivated, and will happily avoid delivering what's expected of you, even to the degree of sabotaging work or the workplace environment. You focus on the negative aspects of how your work, workplace environment and relationships impact you personally. Perhaps you feel antagonistic towards the values and culture of the organization you work for, but might be so stuck where you are you see little possibility of changing job or organization to do something more rewarding. If you imagine you are in this place, you are in an actively disengaged state. Which of those 3 states do you relate to most when you think about your relationship with your work? Are you actively engaged? Are you not engaged? Or are you actively disengaged? Now, the interesting thing is that neuroscience is giving us more and more information about very different chemical activity in our brains in these 3 different states. For example, imagine the joy you feel when you feel really actively engaged with your work. This is actually very similar to the deep sense of fulfillment we experience when we are in love. Now, brain science shows us that when you're in this state, you will have raised dopamine levels in the reward centers of your brain, and you will be releasing more serotonin and vasopressin neurotransmitters, which promote feelings of contentment and bonding. What also happens is your brain shuts down the neural pathway between the nucleus accumbens and the amygdala, which is responsible for the transmission of negative emotions such as fear and social judgment, which goes a long way to explain how we find the courage to attempt the exceptional acts that show our loved ones how we feel about them. And just as you can imagine the love for your partner or your children can propel you to the most extraordinary accomplishments, when you really love your work, you will find it easy to naturally do whatever it takes to deliver your best possible performance. Similarly, imagine how disengaged employees experience a lot of emotional parallels to falling out of love. When all of the frustrations, resentments, self-doubt and other negative emotions surface after a relationship has run its course. For individuals, engagement is an emotional state we choose for ourselves. For the great leaders of organisations that are getting the mix right, creating the right conditions to make the organisation more lovable, to engage people more, requires careful daily attention to the well-being of all contributors and ensuring that they feel valued and supported and that their work and workplace environment resonates with their individual emotional needs. They know that this is a primary responsibility of everyone in a leadership or supervisory role. So, shifting the focus of leadership development and coaching to help more individuals engage in learning and mastering the necessary emotional intelligence competencies is one critically important piece of the engagement jigsaw puzzle. You can imagine how the idea of maximizing workplace engagement is highly desirable for businesses. Employees who choose to engage for success are much more fulfilled, productive and innovative. They create value through higher levels of customer satisfaction and loyalty, which has a direct impact on growth and more bottom line profitability. Actively engaged employees are much more loyal to their organisations and much less likely to want to leave to find work elsewhere. And this has a major bottom line benefit by A, minimising the financial cost associated with staff turnover, and B, retaining the value of experience, relationship networks and intellectual capital within the organisation. Simply put, businesses with higher levels of staff engagement just do much better than their competitors against just about every metric you can think of. The bottom line payback benefits of effective leadership for organisations that are able to implement sustainable employee engagement strategies by creating the right conditions, culture and leadership are significant and compelling. You probably already know that the general view is it is well worth the investment. If you'd like to explore in more detail the business case for investing in employee engagement, you can click the subscribe button and check out my next video where I'll be looking in more depth at how you can think about building the business case for investing in employee engagement, creating outstanding value for yourself and your business. My name is Nick Musgrave. I specialise in helping individuals and organisations achieve their best potential. In this series of short, bite-sized videos, I will be exploring how you can deepen your understanding of the links between neuroscience, leadership and engagement, and discuss the many practical ways that can help you move up to the next level, both personally and as the leader of others, wherever you might currently be on the engagement scale. To make sure what I'm giving you is relevant to your own learning needs, please leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you feel, or if you have any particular challenges or success stories with leading employee engagement in your organisation that you would like to share with me. Thank you for staying with me to the end of this video. And don't forget, if you like it, give it a like, and I would love you to click the subscribe button and join me on this journey of discovery, and check out the next video on the Leadership for Engagement series for more practical tips on how to boost engagement for yourself and for the teams that you lead.